Everybody's just trying to make money, yo. What up, viewers? What up, what up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, October 22nd, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. I would love to talk about a bunch of other stuff that happened this week, but first I have to start off with the most popular thing that happened this week, or potentially the least popular thing that happened this week, was God of War is coming to PC. So this threw all of the PlayStation fans through a loop. They wanted to hold on to their exclusivity for the game for God of War. And I, for one, don't really see a problem with it. The game has been out for 3 years, so anybody who wanted to buy it on PlayStation probably has, and good for them. They bought and played an awesome game. And now PC players will be able to do that as well, which should be good. More people will be wanting to engage with it. Potentially, maybe PC fan. I think what Sony's hoping is that PC fans and players will switch over to PlayStation to play it when it comes out. You know, that'll build up a little bit more hype. So I think that's a little bit of the plan behind it. But at all, you know, like I said, I think people are just trying to make a little bit more money, and I think bringing some Sony exclusives to PC is not always an issue. Days Gone came to PC earlier this year. Horizon Zero Dawn went to PC last year. So I don't see this as really a big of issue. I've always only ever considered exclusivity to consoles and never PC, because I know Microsoft already has a built-in base that plays games on PC, so they're never gonna like cut the ties there. And Sony, you know, after three years, they're gonna take their exclusives and they're gonna put them on PC. So I don't see really big issues here. I just don't understand why this is an issue. You know, if you want to play the game before it's $10 and before everybody else has played it, you got to buy it at launch for full price on the platform that it comes to. But if you want to wait and save a bunch of money and you know, potentially have the game spoiled for you, or just want to wait until you're ready to play it, you can't afford it at full price, then you can wait till it's on sale, or you can wait till it comes to a platform near you. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. I don't know why this was such a big uproar. This is also not the first time they've done this, so you kind of could have seen the writing on the wall. So I just don't quite understand. I don't quite understand why this is a big issue. You know, PC players, unfortunately, they get a lot of the games that, you know, console fans don't get, except for Nintendo. Nintendo, you'll never be able to play a Zelda game on anything other than a Nintendo platform, or a Mario game on anything other than a Nintendo platform. That's their thing. You know, Nintendo does their own thing, but for the most part, the console exclusives will eventually, if not already be on PC, will come to PC eventually. So, and for anybody who wants to create their walled garden, and only people who are in the walled garden can play in that area, I don't think we need any more gatekeepers in the gaming community. So, any way you can play it, hopefully you're playing it and enjoying it. So, that's my motto. Yeah, a little bit of a non-issue, but biggest thing that kind of happened this week, or at least the thing that got a lot of coverage this week. So thought I'd top it off here. Moving right along to some things that we've gotten a little bit more positive feedback on, or at least have a little bit more to do with up-and-coming games. Tinytinas Wonderlands had a pretty cool trailer this week talking about 2 of their character classes. One, the Stabomancer, which, chef's kiss, great name. The Stabomancer, and also the Berserker. So the Stabomancer is their kind of rogue character. The Berserker is their kind of like magey but like barbarian character. We also have ice powers, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with these 2 characters, what the other 2 characters is. Is there only going to be 4 characters like a typical Borderlands game, or are they going to have more? So yeah, looking very fun. I think the vibes that they're going for, what they're going for, is really fun. So I'm really looking forward to Tinytinas Wonderland. As someone who played and enjoyed Borderlands 2's you know, Dungeons and Dragons based game, so very excited to kind of play the spin-off game and kind of see how they build out melee. One of the characters was doing like a spinny, you know, berserker move, and I thought it was really cool. So Really curious to see what they do with Melee and how they, it'll also have guns and their loot piles look like D20s. So all in all, it looks pretty fun and something right up my alley as a big D&D nerd. So looking forward to that. The GTA Trilogy remaster is coming sooner than we expected, or at least that I expected. It launches on November 11th of this year, so just a few weeks away. To remind you, that comes with GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas. I, for one, am really looking forward to getting back into Vice City. That was the game that got me into GTA. Even though I played a little bit of GTA 2, the top-down view was a little wonky, but yeah, I'm excited to kind of see to get into the GTA games. The remasters look a little bit funny, but they definitely brought it up to kind of a today's standards, or at least yesterday's standards. So yeah, looking forward to kind of seeing the remaster, how it looks and how it plays relative to how I remember it playing. I wonder if it's going to be a Diablo 2 kind of situation where I kind of remember it looking as good as it did until I kind of do the comparison, the compare and contrast. So it'll be interesting to see how GTA, the trilogy, is received. Destiny 2 is looking for another way to monetize, and this one has gotten the fans in an uproar. They are monetizing the Witch Queen. So the Witch Queen is coming out in next year. That's their next kind of big DLC. And the dungeons for the Witch Queen are outside of the season pass, and so you're gonna have to pay for those differently than you would normally like pay a season pass going forward or annually. So it's a little bit of weird. I tried to educate myself on this as much as possible, but it sounds like you can get, there's gonna be 3 dungeons, and they're all gonna, like, they'll add up to like $100 cost, and like you can get 2 of them for like a deluxe edition for $60. All in all, it sounds like you're reinvesting in a brand new game. I, for one, would just like a brand new game. Give me Destiny 3 eventually, but I know that they don't want to take people out of the ecosystem that they've built and invested in, but you kind of got to do it, or you run into these weird issues where you monetize expansion content and you upset players. And I think I slightly agree. I didn't agree with this until I found out that all this content is outside of the season pass, which kind of seems like what a season pass is for, is to give me all of the year's content. But they're looking for different ways to monetize. So I, for one, think this was an inevitability, because Destiny is just constantly looking to, I doubt the silver market is making them enough money, and they need ways to re-monetize their fan base. So this is potentially one of those, and at least we'll probably get content better than Curse of Osiris or some of those $30 season pass content that was not worth the 5 hours of playtime that it added to the game. So yeah, hopefully this is bigger and better and worth the actual $100 price tag, which seems a little steep now that I'm saying it out loud. Steam is trying to come up with a system to verify which games will be compatible with their Steam Deck. They released a pretty neat trailer this week talking about whether or not a game will be fully, all capabilities are fully within the Steam Deck, whether or not you might find some spotty issues, whether or not it won't work at all, or whether or not it hasn't been evaluated yet. And with the Steam library being up to like tens of thousands of games, I can definitely see why this is an issue. Hopefully this leads to maybe some curating of content, slicing some of it down, getting rid of some of the shovelware that I know is on Steam, or reskins of the same game. So hopefully Steam can figure out their library situation, but also people who buy the Steam Deck will be able to know whether or not their game will be fully supported on the Steam Deck. So yeah, I think it's a good system. I'm only looking to play indie games, which I would hope would have full capabilities on the Steam Deck. That's what I really think my Steam Deck will be, is an indie box. But for anybody wanting to play 4K AAA shooters, you might have to look elsewhere. We'll have to see how that works. But they're systematically going through the Steam library, trying to figure out what'll work with the Steam Deck and what won't. So hopefully that's to Razer, a company near and dear to me that I hold close to my heart, had its first RazerCon 2021 this year. So they had an online streaming kind of showcase talking about all the stuff that's coming down from Razer. And as you would expect, there was headsets. The latest headset will run you $100. But they're also getting into the chair market, so their leather chair was a little bit toned down more than the kind of racing chairs that you're used to, racing seats that you're used to, and that's, I think, $300 is actually pretty good for some of the chairs that I've seen on the market. So that's looking good. And then most importantly, the mask, the RGB mask that I'm a dire fan of, hopefully is available for purchase. So that'll set you back $100, but I definitely want to be changing up my RGB on my, while hanging out with friends and trying to keep safe. So really looking forward to potentially getting my hands on one of those Razer masks, which became available this week. So looking forward to that. Unfortunately, speaking of things that aren't available, the Xbox mini fridge sold out in a matter of seconds, as you would expect with any other commodity on the market. The Xbox mini fridge was being sold exclusively at Target, and because the pre-orders went online, or at least because the pre-orders were online, obviously bots got to them and people are already starting to scalp them for $300, even though their MSRP is only $100. Because of this, the fans have reacted and they're starting to review bomb the product. I can definitely see where some of their frustration went. I had it set in my calendar of like, wake up, get on Target, try and get something to sale. I got out of bed at 7:15 and apparently sales went on at 7. So we knew where to buy it, we just didn't know what time, and because of that, a bunch of people are already trying to scalp them. So that's unfortunately the world we're living in, and hopefully we can figure out a solution to that. But for now, we're gonna have to wait for Xbox mini fridges to either hit stores, which that's what some of the articles I was reading was saying, that actually most of Target's stock will be on floors, so you have to actually go into a Target and pick one up. So depending on how safe you feel out there, you could fight someone over an Xbox mini fridge, or we'll wait until they get more manufactured, because as I said last week, Xbox has said that this is not a limited edition. They're going to continue to make them. You're just going to get them when you get them. So we'll hopefully they manufacture more, and we'll see those potentially next year. So if you can't find one on the floor of a Target store, then you'll have to wait until next year. Yeah, I didn't get one either. So leave a comment down below if you actually did, or if you didn't, feel free to rant down there. Starfield, or as I like to call it, Fallout in Space, had a pretty cool trailer this week talking about their faction and their setting. The game will be taking place 300 or so years in the future. It takes place in a galaxy not too distant from our own, but not in our own. And there's going to be factions. The trailer kind of talked through all the different factions that you'll be able to interact with. And something we've seen more and more in Fallout games is kind of their building out of their faction system. I'm excited to kind of see that fleshed out, see if they made any improvements upon the faction system in their games. I don't think anything was actually shown in engine, so we don't have any commentary there. But another thing that just surprised me, I had to scratch my head about, is they're starting to talk about it now. The game still doesn't come out for another 54 weeks or something like that, so it's still over a year away. But thankfully we're getting more information now as opposed to later, because I'm excited for it. As I've always said, I am a big Bethesda fan, so hopefully I can get those Fallout bones that I love, but set in space. So should be fun there. Gloomhaven, a very popular board game, has a very faithful and popular board game adaptation on PC, has fully launched. The game has been in early access for over 2 years now, and it is now fully launched. The game, they've finally updated it, and it's got a full campaign, and it's a very faithful recreation of the board game experience. So if you're looking for a way to play Gloomhaven, you can play it with friends. I've actually played it on my stream. It's pretty easy to get up and running. They've also updated kind of the save system and a lot of other stuff. So if you're looking for a good kind of tactical RPG to play with friends, or just by yourself with your own party of 4 mercenaries, be sure to check out Bloomhaven. I'll have links down below in the description. last but not least, the Nathan Drake movie is finally got its first trailer. We got to see Tom Holland in his Nathan Drake outfit. We got to see Mark Wahlberg as Sully, which was a surprise to me. I feel like maybe I knew that Mark Wahlberg had been cast as Sully, but I hadn't seen it yet. It just looks like Mark Wahlberg on the screen because that's what Mark Wahlberg looks like. But yeah, the movie overall just kind of seemed like your typical, dumb action movie. That's just kind of how I think of it. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it will be something entertaining. I think the fact that it's related to the Nathan Drake series isn't gonna really add too much to it, except for hardcore Sony fans will definitely go line up to see it. So, but if you want to see that, I'll have a link down below for the Nathan Drake trailer, which again looks like your typical action movie. So should be fun to see with friends. Looking forward to seeing more on that. That's it for the week. If you think I missed anything or there are any other big things that you want to talk about, feel free to leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!